I don't know, it's past 2 years.
Okay, welcome everyone to this full town council meeting, the 3rd of September. I'm Jeff Clark, the town mayor. A couple of things before we start. Thanks very much to this council who came to the mayor event last Thursday. We've got 40 people there, weren't we? And then today, I went to Fine Jewellers opposite Salamander. He asked me to go and draw a raffle ticket, which I did. So I drew a raffle ticket and then he said, Mr. Mayor, during September, every transaction, we've got a little green counter in a jar. And he said, here's a cheque. The cheque in my pocket, which I will give it to Tony Clark, is for £861. Thank you. So just a reminder about mobile phones and stand if you can, but it's important to speak clearly. And also, we've got the owl on, so to pick up our voices. Any apologies for absence, Town Clerk?
We've received apologies from councillors Bartlett and Trin, both business related.
Okay, can I propose that? Thank you, Richmond, and the seconder. Councillor Butter. All those in favour? Okay, thank you. Declaration of interest. Councillor Brown?
Yeah, town crier and member of the Wimborne militia.
Okay.
I'm that Marshal of Four Jacks, which I think is on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. There's no participation for that.
Well, we haven't had members of the public here.
You want to take at this stage?
Not at this stage, no.
Yeah. I'll call you on when it's your start.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, so phone call. So Dorset police aren't here.
Oh,
Have you got a report?
I have.
No.
Yeah, I'll go and, yeah,
It's obvious.
somebody.
Oh.
Can I circulate it by email to everyone, please?
Yes.
Apologies.
Yes.
He sent it to me this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. So ward councillors, Councillor Morgan.
Right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll try to keep within my half-hour allotment. First of all, let's start with a bit of good news, or at least it is for those who've been battling. Work now at the bottom of Burt's Hill is now complete with said zebra crossing. We've retiled the road. And also the camber a little bit so that people don't sweep up Allen View Road on the right hand side of Burt's Hill, meaning to go on to the left. Having stood there with the head mistress sometime last year and watched cars do it, if anyone had been stood there, which they were entitled to, they wouldn't be stood there now. So that's good news that we've got the safety issues there. It does come under what we call a TRO, which is a traffic regulation order. That's 6 months whereby people can comment on the work that's been done. And only today I got an email from the council to say that there's actually a TRO. Might not affect us, of course, because this is Wimborne, but there's a TRO on the Cowgrove Road from St Margaret's Hill through for about 1.5 kilometres. No parking, no dropping anybody off, and that's subject to it. So comments have been made. The other good news is that about 4 years ago, which isn't really long in our timing, but about 4 years ago, we were asked by the parents if we could do something about getting a safer walkway from the children who left the back gates, because the cars in the car park, and I'm talking now of the car park which is over the bridge, if you were to stand on the bridge and look at the cars on this side were all up towards the hedge, which made the children have to walk behind them. And on odd occasions, cars would be pulling out, and of course the children wouldn't see them, and because the cars were frontwards, they couldn't see the children either. Pleased to say that this last week I've seen a lot of work on there now. If you haven't seen it, it's worth going to see that. What we suggested was that if they could push the cars back and cut some of the trees down and vegetation, that the children could walk in front of the car, which makes more sense. And that has now been done. So the cars can park front, but there's something to stop them obviously going over. But it's a proper walkway now. I went to look at it and said, oh, I see you've got walking men up there. And I was corrected. We now call them walking people. So don't refer to them as walking men, it's walking people.
How were they dressed?
Yes, thank you, Councillor. So it's well worth seeing, but that makes it a lot safer for the children. So never give up hope that you can't get something done. But the only thing that was lost was a tree, which had to come down in the middle, and the tree officer was quite concerned about it because he didn't know it had been taken down until it had gone. So there we are. So he's asked that 2 trees be planted somewhere in the town to replace it, so that'll be fun, deciding where they will go. But that's a good safety issue, so that's something that gets done eventually, yeah.
Chairman, can I just say my granddaughter approves? She goes to the school and,
She walks that way,
yeah, and she mentioned it to me.
and it walks from the school right through to the pavement on the bridge, so it should be quite safe. So that's good. Now, the other thing that we all discuss is the Stone Lane Westborough crossing, which has been an ongoing issue now for about 5 years. When Bloor Homes managed to get permission to build, one of the conditions is that they would improve the road junction by putting a pedestrian crossing in. Somewhere along the line, that seemed to get lost, but they've now admitted, or now say, yes, we do agree that we must put a pedestrian crossing in because that was part of the planning commission. So, paperwork came to the legal department as to what they were going to do. The legal department at Dorset decided it wasn't fit for purpose, so they sent it back. It didn't help that I gather that Bloor Homes' design company, or the one they used, went into liquidation. But I gather now they've got another one going. So basically the situation there is that we are waiting for the paperwork to come from Bloor Homes as to say how they're going to do it. It gets more complicated, if you're interested, in the fact they would like to close the road while it was done, the pedestrian crossing. And if you close the road, that's a 13-week notice. And also, we've now discovered that BT have a connection in the curb. So that would have to be taken away or rejigged. So you can see the saga goes on. But it gets more important because now we've got River Nursery, and I had an email from the lady who is running it, and I've updated her on what's happening. And also, of course, we've got My Dentist that's now appeared, and they wanted to put a pedestrian crossing opposite where their gate is, but due to road regulations, they're unable to do that. It's not helped either by the fact there's no pavement on that side either. But it is a concern with the little ones there. But it's been a concern for a long time. So basically, we're just waiting for Bloor Homes to come up trumps with their paperwork and see what they can do. Allotments. Again, Bloor Homes. This is the allotments on the off the Cranbourne Road, and it would be on the left-hand side as you're going down. The allotments were finished some time ago. I've had emails as to say, why can't we use them? I therefore checked. The planning officer who was responsible, keeps an eye on it, said, oh, they had a problem with the electrical connection. They didn't know where to put this electrical connection to do with the allotments. Shocking, really. But they actually have now made the electrical connection. And again, guess what we're waiting for? The right paperwork to come in. Once that comes to Dorset Council, then they will take it over. We might smile at the paperwork, but unless the legalities are right, that's what it needs to be checked. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a situation you don't want. And then Dorset Council can take it over, and then those people who've been waiting to plant their shallots for the last 5 years might be able to do so. So that's what's happening on those allotments. So there is something there.
Yeah.
Now we come to something that's already been mentioned. My favourite topic is speeding. I get emails on a fairly regular basis from the residents who live either side of Cranbourne Road about the speeding down there, despite the fact there are 3 at least slow on the road. And there's a great big sign which says 30. We still get residents, we still get motorists hiring down probably just under 40 miles an hour, as was always done. I think one problem, because, you know, coming that way myself, one problem I think is that you cannot see that there is a housing estate there because of the trees. You cannot see until you get to Bluebell Bridge, where that actually pointed that out. We've tried various, or I've tried with the authority to get various speed restrictions put in. Sid was suggesting, I think the town council would have to pay for a SID, they would have to maintain it. So I have been in contact with the police.
What's he said?
A SID, speed indicator device. Yes, the only thing it doesn't do is take the photographs of car number plate.
David, have you nearly finished?
Nearly finished. Moving on.
These everything's got started.
Yeah, thank you, councillor Burke.
Say how far.
Yes, I have been in contact with the police, and we'll see if we can get more times when they can come out and actually register car things. But speaking of speed watch, when we had speed watch in the town earlier on, we were one of the first towns to have speed watch. We used to stand at Walker Bridge and get quite a bit. Moving on, East Street, King Street, I think could do with the 20 mile an hour painted on the road. I think most people ignore it. I think 1 in 5 is doing 20 miles an hour. Speeding up now. Cherry trees on the avenue are going to be pruned. 3 are going to go. They will be replaced. Despite the fact it says in the press that the tips are going to be closed during October, that is true, but the Wimborne tip will be closed on the 16th and 17th of October, just 2 days, and it's to do a big clean. There's going to be a road closure on East Street. You think, is that all East Street? No, it's from Chris Batten down to where Tappers is, that's the part, and that's November sometime. And Grove Road is where it meets that Ethelbert Road. And the final thing, which we're all excited about, is of course the local plan. And just to remind you that tomorrow in the Annandale Centre, from 1:30 to 5:30, you can come along, look at the plans again. The officers will be there, and That's about it, I think, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Councillor Morgan. Any questions? Councillor Roberts.
Can I just ask Chairman if Councillor Morgan knows anything more about the Tapper site, because it's getting worse and worse?
Yes, I can tell you what about the Tapper site, because we have we're not got a vested interest in that, father-in-law was here a few weeks, I think. Yes, first of all, bits were dropping off it, so I got hold of the planning department. And within 2 days, a scaffolding was erected to catch the little bits, which were then turned to big bits. And that's why the scaffolding's there, so don't get excited for doing anything. We then wrote to their legal department, it's Anchors and Rawlins who are the builders. They replied to say that in the present climate, oh no, it was so they could start in November, because their 3 years was up. But they argued that because they'd knocked down buildings at the back, they had made a start. They also put in the letter the fact that in the present climate, it was not viable to do the development that they wanted. So it stands there. That was the answer, and I see that the car park is now been nicely taken over by the cricketers.
Councillor Nash.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Some good has come of it at the moment because the cricketers is over the car park there.
The cricketers has taken the car park, yes, we did contact enforcement, somebody asked us, and enforcement came back and said, well, it's been a car park, well, it's been a car park for at least 40 years, 50 years, to my knowledge, so because it's a car park, yes, it's been taken over, and in some ways that's not a bad way, because it keeps an eye on the time.
Sure. There was just one more question to do with the responses you were trying to get from Blue. Is there time pressure on it?
There is pressure on them.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Morgan.
Thank you.
Okay, so in terms of the town mayor, what I've been up to, every Sunday I do a little blog, which is on the website, the town mayor's blog, and I put in there the detail of what I've done. But something like that, Sunday yesterday, I went to a service of the Minster with the Bishop of Sherborne. I went to the Flower Festival on Saturday. I opened the Polytunnel at Kingston Lacey on Friday, and so it goes. I went to a very good civic day at Blandford, and they had a town choirs competition that Chris Brown took part in.
I did.
And you're typically won an award.
You did?
Yeah. For the most smart.
Yeah, the Deputy Town Crier, Melbourne Gudger won the Best Dressed Town Crier Award.
And I thought you were the best.
But the other guy made about matching socks.
Okay, in terms of fundraising, so we had the town trail, over 30 people. We had this thing on Thursday at the brewery, which got over 40 people. We've got a curry evening coming up, a big quiz, 22nd October, council forget that. So should we just go around and run quickly? John, Councillor Wilson, should we start with you?
Yes, I had a tour of the cemetery, which was fascinating, and I think they're doing a wonderful job there. I can predict there might be conflict between the people who like to see things very, very neat and tidy, and people who like things to be a bit more wildlife friendly. We did have a lady here who made a very good case for keeping things very, very tidy, but it's a question of current environmental design, and also the amount of money that's spent to keep things room. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dax.
Yes, I can just update on the Sports and Leisure Forum. There's been no formal meeting since July, but the summer's been used to really try and find out what we would want the forum to be, what sports clubs and sports businesses would want. So we have a meeting coming up on Monday where we will be looking at things like website and directory proposals, which are being worked up. We'll be looking at how sports and leisure could contribute to the town culture year. And then most importantly, what's the appetite for doing that? And what do they need to be to do that in terms of constitution and other things? So the 6th of October, next Monday, is a really important meeting for the forum in terms of, we can all talk with lots of enthusiasm, but does that enthusiasm go through to the do and delivery? But that said, I mean, I had the opportunity of speaking to people from sports clubs and businesses over the summer and visiting some, and there really is so much good work going on, which I hadn't been aware of, and I love sports and leisure, and the number of volunteers involved is amazing. So I think, you know, it's commendable that all that activity is going on in the town. Last thing I want to mention is in the informal liaison role I've got with BCP councillors, I do hope to meet with Councillor Richard Burton, who deals with the Merley area, in the next month. So if anybody's got anything they would want me to raise, if you let me know, then I will do that. Thank you, Sharon.
So just to let you know, I gave your contact details to somebody that's interested in putting together a conglomerate to look at what options could be done to get a team together to run the QE Leisure Centre. Thank you.
Yeah, just on the QE Leisure Centre, the work is still going on to the pool areas and other areas, which will enable the leisure centre to open up to more clubs. But the issue of it being a leisure centre open to the public and all facilities open is still has not been resolved, and so that's quite interesting. And I think that the challenge for the community is to try and work with the trust so that they do consider that before it's too late. I think it's challenging all round because their priorities, quite rightly, are education. They are not running a leisure centre. We've got to somehow try and work through that if we can.
That's right, yeah.
Thank you.
I have a John on Monday.
Yes.
Councillor Ryan.
Well, I judged the Victoria Sponge competition, which is actually a lot harder work than it sounds. 13 pieces of cake to eat. Oh. And then so yeah. And actually, on a more serious note, I went probably as a private individual rather than on behalf of the council to see the work of an organisation called Redirection, which is a self-help group for men with mental health issues and so on, who meet every Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the morning, and 20 guys turned up, pouring rain, pitch black. And I think that that's an organisation which actually, as a council, we should, if they need any support, we ought to give it to them, because I was incredibly impressed by what they do.
Thanks very much for helping with the food festival.
It was a challenge. Actually, it was a lot of fun, actually. But
Councillor Richmond.
nothing to report, Chairman.
Councillor Hector.
Continue to do a speed watch for Cranbourne Road. And we have our first drop-in session at the Allendale Centre this Saturday with yourself and me for the morning. It's 10 till 12. So all the public are welcome to join if anyone's watching at home.
It's been advertised pretty well.
It has, yeah, really good post. So hopefully have a good conversation with a few people.
Councillor Brown.
Thank you. Yeah, as reported, I came second in the tank rider competition, which was good fun, and it was nice to see Blandford doing that again because they used to do it every year, so that was lovely. I've got, I'm doing a Commonwealth War Graves commissional tour of the cemetery on Sunday, the 26th of October. It's free, but you do need to book a ticket by the through their website, if possible. I've attended Waltham Mill Observer board meeting, and I think it's fair to say that if you know of anybody that would be interested in being a trustee there, they could certainly do with some volunteers. Struggling a little bit, yeah, I suppose. But that's me, I think.
Thank you. Councillor Wheeler.
So yeah, just from the band front, your town band is represented Wimborne at Ringwood Carnival afternoon evening and Shaftesbury Carnival afternoon evening. The former event was very wet. The latter event was very cold. So yeah, apart from that, it was all good. But if you look at the videos on our webpage, great. I was very proud when they started coming together really quite nicely. We're looking to support Planet Wimborne's event later in October, early October, so that should be really quite a Green Festival. Turning to the RAF, they're looking for help to dispose of technology equipment. So if anybody has any ideas, they used to have it taken away by Dorset Council for free, but now they're saying they don't do that service anymore. So if anybody knows of a way of disposing of old technology, please contact me. I'd like to try and help them out if at all possible. That's me. Thank you.
Councillor Roberts.
The only thing I've got to report, Chairman, is back from St Margaret's and Stones charity. They are going along very nicely. There has been some mention of Tarrant Cainston, I think. They have a couple of semi-detached villas in the village, which they would like to incorporate with St Margaret's and Stones. It has been mentioned before, but it somehow fell by the wayside. I think they're going to have a couple of empty shops in West Street shortly, because the tenants are going. Apart from that, nothing else.
Thank you. Councillor Burt.
Nothing important.
Councillor Sandy.
Nothing major, just that I've been liaising with Mark and Angel to put on a tour for our French visitors next summer. And we're hoping that we can, they're here every weekend, so we're hoping we can somehow include that in the town culture. So that's, it's just,
I'm going to say it'd be good, wouldn't it, if they came with a bit of town and culture event.
well, we're waiting for the events to,
Yes. They'll be shaped up.
Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Chapawina.
Thank you, Chair. So myself and Councillor Wheeler on the 1st of September with the first folk festival meeting. There's a new group, there's a new chair, just getting to know each other ahead of next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Nash.
Spent an afternoon, lovely there on the Minster Green for the Fair Trade Fortnight as part of the food festival, extolling the virtues of fair trade and the very good uptake we have in this town. And that's about all I've got for it.
Okay, thank you. 10 o'clock.
Nothing for
Okay. Okay, let's go to item 6, full council minutes. Receive the minutes of full council meeting on 29th July, for record, town here. Anyone got any comments on those minutes? Okay, someone want to propose, I will accept them. Councillor Nash, and secondly, Councillor Wheeler. All those in favour? Very much. Any abstentions? One.
Anybody else wasn't there? If they're not today.
Okay, and then committee minutes and working group notes, 27. So we've got a list there of all the different groups.
Just a note thing, nothing
Yeah.
of question.
Any questions about the meetings or anything you noticed from the notes?
Obviously, some of them we were a bit late today on the agenda, because the meetings were only last week, so we deferred them off to the haven't seen.
Okay,
I haven't had the time, Chairman, to look, but have all these other ones been now sent to us? But I couldn't quite understand.
No, the ones that are recent meetings, for example, the recommendation on the 23rd of September, the Enable Plan Steering Group on the 24th of September, the working group on the 23rd of September, Town Culture and Town Liaison, 26th of September. Those notes and minutes are not ready yet and will be deferred to next full council.
Okay, thank you.
okay, yes, I've got. Any other comments? No, okay. Item 8, so recommendations from various standing ministerial groups. So community events and liaison committee, they want to recommend for council, the town council adopt 2 phone boxes in the town square on BT. And I think town clerk's going to explain.
So, I updated a report for health, which I have, I think, circulated, and there will be an initial maintenance cost to get them up to the look of what they should be in terms of painting and refurbishment. And then the ongoing maintenance costs, I think, rather than per annum, they're probably every 3 to 4 years, depending on how quickly they deteriorate. But that's the only change to the report, really. It's not a per annum cost, it's probably every 3 to 4 years. So what I'm asking full council to consider is, in the first stage, just considering whether they want to adopt them. That means that we'd follow a procedure with BT, they would become our assets and they become our responsibility. Their use going forward, I'm not asking you to debate now, just whether we should adopt them.
Okay, so that's a clear question. Anyone want to comment? Councillor Nash.
I believe we're sending this back from full council to the committee to try and ascertain whether there were potential investment opportunities for local businesses and or whether or not BT should be keeping these things up themselves. It seems like this is just bounced straight back to us without that really being any recommendations around that.
Okay.
So the committee did reach out, and some businesses have said they're willing to support in terms of sponsorship. We haven't agreed what financially that looks like at this stage. But there was at least 2 local businesses that were interested in doing that with us. In terms of BT, they won't be doing any maintenance, regardless of whether we look them or not.
Let's come back.
If I may, it shouldn't be within their power to not do that. It's required because they're listed buildings. So I really don't understand how they can say we're not going to upkeep them when it is their legal responsibility.
Okay, Councillor Wheeler.
I just think we can kick this can back and forth for months. For me, I'd like us to be a bit progressive, take them over, rejuvenate them, and then look for sponsorship within the town to get them used. Richard Lonsdale's done a renovation on one. To be honest, putting some paint on something after you stripped it down and made it, okay to take a paint shouldn't be beyond the wit of us to allow it to happen, to create an asset in the town. We can then have the time to debate what we use them for and search for that sponsorship from the businesses within the town. Maybe it's something that we could co-do with the bid. Maybe it's a project that we could do with the bid, or with the youth council if they want to throw ideas at me.
Councillor Nash.
In that case, may I propose that we adopt these, but with the caveat that we make sure sponsorship or an agreement to sponsorship is not placed before we do the repair.
Unclear.
I'm not sure.
Clear as how that would get done, then get policed. So, look, my proposal would be that if they need to be adopted and we need to move forward with it. So we adopt them, we look at the money to upgrade them and we search for sponsorship, but be prepared to pay for it, because it's an asset of the town on our town square. We put bunting up, we pay for that, so we put lights up at Christmas, why wouldn't we look for something that's an asset to the town?
Councillor Richmond.
Well, we've had a proposal, we just need to follow the proper procedure. We've had a second proposal. I'm not sure where, sorry to be interrupting, I don't know
Should
where.
we just delay this for a second over this as the rest of them?
Councillor Richmond.
Yeah, I'd like to support what's just been said. I think we don't have enough information on there about the costs, as has already been pointed out. The one quote is excessive because we're aware of the same sort of renovation of boxes that has been considerably cheaper. So I think on the facts that are presented there, it's not a very benign kind of suggestion that we would take them on, but I think it will be well worth taking them on.
So you're going to second this?
Yeah, I would second that,
Okay, so
unless you want Unless you want further
Yes,
discussion.
this evening.
So just for the minutes purposes, are you happy to be withdrawing?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got a proposal from Councillor Wheeler that we adopt these telephone monitors, seconded by Councillor Richmond.
We adopt the, and pay for maintenance while also looking for sponsorship, and we carry on with that maintenance
I
programme.
think the wording was that we accept that the maximum the maintenance will be is in the report, but we would seek sponsorship to either remove it completely or reduce it.
Councillor Ryan.
Thank you.
Could we not ask BT to put them into a perfect condition before we buy them?
We've
Have we?
done that. They want to do it. Yeah, that was my suggestion. That's just, yeah.
Okay, so Councillor Burt.
Yeah, in the report, there are several people who come forward and prepared to sponsor them.
We have
I don't know whether to declare an interest, but one of them is my solicitor, Howard G. Walker.
So there's potential there. So my proposal still stands, the second still stands.
Okay, should we take a vote on that? All those in favour? All those against? Yeah. Any abstentions?
I'm not sure what we're voting on that.
We're voting on
Are we
adopting
just
telephone
adopting them, but not with any work ongoing
Adopting them.
as such?
We're basically, we're adopting that
There's a
report.
job to do.
We're adopting them, yeah, because of the 21-hour track. We're adopting them, with the maximum the cost will be the cost in that document. However, we would seek to look at like Harold G. Walker, the people that are keen to put sponsorship in to reduce that figure.
Well, I understand it. We actually had other people that would do the maintenance on them for less than, what is it, £1,100?
So that we can explore, but that's the maximum that will be in that document.
Okay, shall we,
So the
attempt to take a vote now?
well, we've taken that, it's whether you're on to whether it's an abstention or a.
Abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Abstaining. We got the full vote.
One
there?
against, one abstention. Thank you.
Okay. The second recommendation was to recommend to us that we provide a community lottery fund service outsourced by an external third party. It costs approximately £5,000, a setup at an annual cost of £1,000 per annum, and an officer to establish whether local charities will support the concept. Now, I think you've done some research on this, Mark.
Yes, so there was a report that went to the CAL committee, and I've updated it slightly because I spoke to the external third party Gatherwell who confirmed the costs. So the report hasn't been updated since CAL last saw it. And these costs have all been confirmed here in terms of how it works, what would be our initial outlay, and going forward, keeping it up to date. So in terms of the options, so this has come from our strategic plan. So in terms of the options, it's whether you want to go ahead with it, whether you want to do it through a third party. And I think the option of running it by the town council is not achievable because we don't have the resources to do that.
Okay, any comments? Ms. Roberts?
Have we actually, or do we actually know of other towns that have done this and what the outcome is? It's in the report. I haven't seen that report.
So the external third party, there are a number of mostly town councils and the local authorities, and generally they've raised 3.7 million funds a year with a 63% return to the community. Examples that I put in the report are Faversham, Boodley. The only one that I know of that is nearer us is Hythe and Dibden near Southampton, and they are in the process of setting it up.
Okay, Councillor Jones?
Yeah, I suppose my main concern was bearing in mind the size of the town, whether we had any information whether that would be a viable lottery. Does that make sense? Whether there'll be sufficient use of it for there to be funds going to good causes?
Do we know, Town Clerk?
No, you don't know until you start whether people are going to buy tickets. But I reached out to our local established charities and organisations, and they're on board with the concept.
Councillor Hector.
I thought option 3 would work the best for us because the setup fees are not extortionate and it incorporates a little bit of town council, because I know we don't have the resources to run it fully, but also to delegate a local charity or group to be involved with the main running. And I thought that way it could sort of be overseen a little bit, but not too much that we have to be always monitoring it. And also, yeah, it's every 3 months it has to be drawn because you have to have there's like a maximum, it can't go over. And I just thought that seemed a little bit of a nicer way of doing it, that it's going to be just every 3 months looked at. Yeah, I thought it would make for a smoother running. I propose we accept option 3, yeah.
Okay, Councillor Richmond.
Thanks, Chairman. I share Councillor Jagg's concern that 7,500, 8,000 people in Wimborne, 8,000 people in Coal Hill, we're starting with a base of 15,000. Whether or not that would be sufficient to generate the kind of returns that you would want. If we were to do this and we were to farm it out to an organisation, is there a minimum time that we would be signed up for so that we could actually explore it and not necessarily continue it?
Thank you. Do we know that?
No.
We don't know. Okay, anyone second Councillor Hector's proposal? You- Yes, Councillor Nash. Okay, should we take that vote? So all those in favour of Councillor Hector's proposal indicate. All those against? Any abstentions? Great. Okay, so that's carried, isn't it? Okay. Item 9, annual return. So note the annual governance and accountability return for year end 3rd of March 2025, including the notice and conclusion. So, Town Clerk.
So for information purposes, it's come back from the external auditor. We have to correct a figure that has been put in wrong, which is noted where it says under number 2, the AGO was not actually completed before submission. It was returned for amendments. So from our point of view, it's an excellent return on the external audit process.
Councillor Brown.
Can I ask about the bit on appendix 17, part 1, external auditors comments number 2, cause for concern, relevant legislation and requirements have not been met. Is there more we could learn about that?
So where are you looking? Sorry.
It's part 1 of the 2 documents. And it was the comment from the external auditor near the end of it. It's number 2, cause for concern. That's below that, I think. That's towards the end of it. There, 2, external auditors' opinion.
There's no causes of concern, what we're saying.
Oh, right.
There's no causes of concern that we relevant registration or regulatory requirements have not been met, so there's no cause for concern.
Oh, right.
It's a quick note out.
I missed it.
Okay, sorry, so just know that report. Any other comments? Okay, Wimborne Cemetery.
Sorry, can we also
Yeah.
note the notice of conclusion, which is the part 2, which legally we have to publish, and it's just to note the dates on it.
Okay. Good. So item 10, Wimborne Cemetery, just to make the activity report from 1st of April to 30th of May. And then the lodge inspection report, Dan Clark's going to mention this.
So, the cemetery manager has been doing a little bit of research for me in terms of our responsibilities for our two tenants at our residential properties, the lodge at Red Cross and the lodge at Cemetery. And obviously you've had the report to look at, so we're asking you to consider whether, first of all, should we do midterm inspections? And I would say we do need to do midterm inspections, and then if that's the case, how we do them, whether they should be externally or in-house completed. And the recommendations at the bottom to consider option 1 or 2, but to do the actual midterm inspections.
Any comments? Councillor Wheeler.
So, I would support the need to do, the inspections, because I would imagine that's a legislative thing that we need to, comply with for their safety and security as well as ours. So yeah, I'm happy. As for doing it externally, I'm a little bit ambivalent as whether to do it externally, but if there's a cost and we can do it internally, then, and not have that cost, then I would look for us to do it internally and not have that cost.
Yeah, I think we should be doing it, but the last quote, which is using a Wimborne-based business, and it's the cheapest quote as well, £25, I thought would be the best option to have.
Thank you.
I disagree with Councillor Peckett. I thought the £25 was very reasonable, and having someone independent that is good.
Mm.
I think it would probably cost the town council more to do it itself, if it's only £25.
Okay, so, proposer,
Yeah.
What's the proposal, sorry?
So propose that we propose that we do perform the inspections, and I'll take councillor Hector's option of the £25. Yes.
anyone want to second that? Councillor Jacks, all those in favour? Anybody against?
Anybody against, sorry?
Any abstentions?
Thank you.
25 quid doesn't seem much. It seems really.
Thank you.
What's more than that, the right one difference.
Okay, item 11, civility and respect pledge. To consider recommitting to the town council's previous signing up the civility and respect pledge. So we're just noting this.
Yeah, usually I put it on the May annual meeting, just to note every year that we're still signed up to Barkerbold, so it's a bit late.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Nash.
I didn't realise civility was optional.
Okay. Item 12, local council.
What do you decide if
It's just for noting, we didn't vote.
oh, we don't have to make a decision?
We've already signed up to it, councillor Byrne, it's just for noting annually that we have signed up to it.
Well, we signed up to it on the 23rd of September 2024.
Yeah, and nationally, there's no requirement for us to sign up to it annually. It's just to note our continued support of it. I've checked with the National Association.
Okay.
Okay, item 12, local council reward application. There it comes up, something like that, silver criteria, and 21. So the proposal, the office submits our application as detailed in the document. Does anyone want to propose that? Councillor Nash,
Very happy to propose that.
a seconder, Councillor Peterson, all those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions?
Oh, I'm not sure what you're voting on.
Thanks. Yeah.
So the second part to this, and I admit I have been quite cheeky. I assumed that our strategic plan would meet the criteria for silver, but the panel that checked our evidence, adamant that they want an annual action plan. So I and John and myself worked on a document that, basically it is a taking of all our priorities from our current strategic plan that haven't been achieved yet, that can potentially be achieved in our current municipal year. So it doesn't reflect all our priorities, it reflects the ones that we are either currently undertaking or could undertake. I'm asking for council to propose to accept this document. It will get put towards the finance and governance for a review, but for our accreditation process, I'm asking you to approve this document so we can put it in support.
Okay, and we'll propose that.
Yeah, that's not good.
Councillor Burt,
It sounded, okay.
seconder. Councillor Brown, all those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? Okay,
Thank you.
so item 13, the Wimborne bid ballot. To vote on the Wimborne bid ballot, appendix 22. So, any comments first of all? Councillor Brown.
Well, I've worked with, alongside the bid for a long time, and I think, undoubtedly it's had its problems, but it's also been incredibly successful. And I would propose that, our vote goes towards, continuing the process.
I'm happy to second that.
Other second that?
I think the bid has been good for Wimborne those through the years.
With the-
I would like to see it continue.
Yes, and we've done a lot of partnership work with the bid, haven't we, with the town?
Sorry, what did you say?
We've done a lot of partnership work with the town council with the bid.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, any other comments? So we've got a proposal, we've got a seconder, all those in favour? Anybody against? Anybody abstaining?
One abstention.
Yeah. Okay. Correspondence comes to item 14. So appendix 23 is the correspondence from Vicky Slade regarding neighbourhood plan findings. Yeah, sorry, what's that? Councillor Wood, what's on what? So Councillor Burt, sorry, Councillor Burt.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I read through her letter. I think the problem with this is if it's supported by the government, then everybody across the country's got to pay. And I don't think everybody across the country is involved in this. I think this neighbourhood plan will be for particular areas such as ours and so on, but not for everybody. And I sort of somehow feel it should therefore be paid for by the people who want it. And that would mean we would pay for our own neighbourhood plan and not expect someone in the northwest of England to be paying for it. And so that was just the impression that came across to me when I read her letter, that she seems to be beavering away at it and going to take every opportunity she can to have the cost spread across the taxpayer in general.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Wheeler.
So I agree with Councillor Burt. If there's funding available, you take advantage of it, but if it gets withdrawn, then, you know, it's a fair pot and you fund it yourself. And the neighbourhood plan is progressing at pace. We're looking to keep the costs tight because the delivery will be fast as we can go. So, yeah, you know, any support from Vicky Slade is welcomed, but I think we're able to proceed anyway.
And this neighbourhood plan is going to have to work in conjunction with the
The local plan.
The Dorset,
Yes,
Local
which we're looking at how that works together.
they've got to come together.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments? So we just note that.
Thank you.
14.2, so to consider our response to the following consultations, the Dorset Council local plan, information available on the website. Councillor Leader, do you want to be honest?
So I've drafted a response to the local plan for us. So I think what I'd like us to do is to put that out to members for comment. And then once we're ready, we'll complete it. The transport plan is a little bit more difficult to do. So the proposal on that would be, I'll give you the thoughts based on what I know from planning and environment, because we get an awful lot from into planning environment around transport and travel and infrastructure. And I'll give you a thrust of what we would do, and then we would I'd look to sit down with the clerk and the deputy clerk and go through the portal to complete it on behalf of the Wimborne Town Council. Councillor Burke. Councillor Burke.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say thank you to Councillor Wheeler for his offer, and I look forward to receiving that in due course. The local plan, we call it the structure plan, it's had all different names down through the years, is very important for the whole of our area. I know, for example, it's another 706 houses in Corfmullen. Can't remember, I think it's 1,000 or 1,500 in Berwick, and so on. So I hope in our comments that they won't all be negative, in as much as that if we try to object to everything that's put forward, we're not going to get anywhere. And if we're not happy with a certain thing, we really perhaps should be in a position to suggest the alternative. Now, the total figures come from the government. We've heard them say enough times that they want 1.5 million houses over that period of 3 years or 5 years. They're staying. At the moment, it's not very easy. A lot of those people who are, we heard, as an example in Wimborne, development has slowed down at the moment for various reasons, which we won't go into. But there's a lot of things in that plan, and I've only seen bits of it so far, and I'm hoping the council's going to help me out with sending me a copy of the whole document. So besides looking at and coming with negative comments, we must be prepared sometimes to be positive on things. So I look forward to it. I give and say thank you very much to Simon for doing that, because it takes the burden off the rest of you sitting round as a committee, and a committee, they say, is a bit like a camel. I don't know, it's got 2 or 3 humps. And that would take a lead from where we can go from there.
That's right, thank you.
So generally, where I've been challenging, I've been offering options that I think they've not. I don't think the Dorset local plan has been progressive enough. I think they could have been a bit more visionary than they were, and I've offered solutions that they could explore. Whether they take any notice of what we put in there, we'll wait and see. But I think there's options that do need to be considered that aren't in the local plan proposal. So hopefully it is progressive.
Well, just one final question, Mr. Mayor, to Simon, through you. Will you just be dealing in this instance on the area covered by Wimborne Town Council?
I've looked at from a Wimborne Minster perspective on the effects of building 2,000 in Coal Hill, 1,000 odd in Corfmullen, and about 2,000 in Merlin. So the impact of what I'm stating is And also, the fact that we've taken over our allocation already, with very small parcels of land left for our green space. I talk quite a bit about the issues that that's causing the plan because, the town because of a lack of infrastructure. And I've given options for that as well.
That's absolutely fine. The implications of development on the outskirts
Has to be
that will
considered.
have on the town.
Has to be considered.
So if you're covering that aspect as well, that's absolutely splendid. But we should be looking primarily at the area of the town as well.
Yeah, Councillor Richmond.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, whilst I appreciate Councillor Burt's statement, really, how important it is, the plan. The consultation is an opportunity it's an invitation for opinions. So there is nothing really that would indicate the requirement to object or to support. It's an opportunity for opinions. And I think that's exactly what Councillor Wibb has just suggested he's proposing.
Am I proposing that I circulate it?
So proposal is that it's circulated via PEC.
Yeah.
And that a response comes back, because I've asked for an extension and they've granted an extension, it comes back to the full council to be rubber stamped next month.
I think the proposal should come from outside here, and I'm happy to propose it.
Fine. Thank you, Councillor. So, proposal seconder?
Chairman, I just wonder whether it ought to be circulated to the whole council for comment rather than just.
Oh, yeah, it will come back to you.
I think,
Then we'll go to, well, we'll come to the full council, won't it?
yeah,
It starts off with PEC and at some point you'll get an agenda item with the response on it,
okay.
because it sits with PEC.
Okay, can we have a seconder? Councillor Brown, so all those in favour, Councillor Burt's proposal? Anybody against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Another transport bit?
The transport bit, so the transport plan, from what I can see so far, is an interesting, mash of, what's already being done with smatterings of what they can do, moving forward as a county. So why I proposed it, because I can't actually get a PDF of it to be able to give you what the responses to each question would be. I've tried to summarise what the whole plan is, and give you a thrust of what sorts of things I think the questions that we're going to be asked are, and what I think our response would be. I'm still working on that, because as you might imagine, that's a bit more of a larger undertaking. But to give you a view, I don't, for Wimborne, I don't think there's been, again, enough thought around inter-town travel and how that can be done in a smarter way. There's been an over-reliance on cycle paths, which just from our demographic don't work. And I struggle with the cycle paths. They have a place in society, but I'm not sure that they are an answer. And there's been a little bit of disregard for bus travel, and you know, alternative items such as trams. You know, that's progressive, thinking about, you know, it costs money, obviously it does, but you know, if you're going to do a plan and you're going to look at you know, a travel plan, you call it a travel plan, then there should be more options on the table than there currently are. So that's the thrust of the responses that I'll throw to you, but I can only give you bullets on what I think they're going to ask.
Councillor Brown.
Can I just add that the thing about transport that never seems to get addressed is looking longer term about how things are going to change, and they are going to change, because we're all moving towards electric cars and stuff like that, which are not cost-free in terms of environment and things. So I would second what you're saying there, Councillor Wheeler. But I think the forward thinking about transport has to be a key part of the ongoing discussion.
Yeah, I agree. So we
Councillor Roberts.
Can I just add, Chairman, that, you know, with public transport, it is very difficult in some places to get from A to B. Like, you can't get directly from Wimborne to Blanford, which is a straight road. You have to go via Sturridge to Marshall into Poole and back out. It is absolutely ridiculous, and I think the bus companies need a bit of a jog on that.
So I think we're all like-minded, so if you're happy, I will progress that.
It's delegated responsibility to you.
I can't, somebody will need to have those.
Thank you.
Councillor Lynch.
So I'd like to propose that we delegate responsibility to council leader based on his well, based on what he's just said, basically.
We've got a second.
I trust him.
Councillor Brown, all those in favour? Anybody against or abstaining? Okay, nearly there. Item 15, Town Square Booking Management. To review the role of the Town Council in managing Town Square bookings, going forward. And Town Hall spend lead.
A bit of a long-winded report, but in essence, and to summarise, we were asked through the town liaison group to take over the administration of booking all the use of the town square inside the sitting area licence requirements by Dorset Council Highways, on the proviso that they had the final say whether a booking went ahead or not. So the town liaison group agreed that we would try it for 12 months. It's now been 18 months, nearly 2 years actually. And the office manager has been dealing with them. So over the last 17 months, we've had 41 inquiries and 35 have been authorised by Dorset Council. So the paperwork involved, here is an example of what the office manager required in terms of information from the person making the inquiry and where they want to put their hire, that they understand what the sitting licence agreement means, and then we go to Dorset Council and ask them. It takes time in terms of the office manager to do all this work, and I'm asking council to consider this booking form. Well, first of all, do we take it on permanently? And secondly, if we do, can we do it as per the booking form? And in essence, I'm looking for a voluntary donation, which will go to the town mayor's charities to cover the cost of the admin, as per we do with the overseas pensions group of life.
Councillor Blanche.
Is there any reason why we have to have that as a voluntary donation? Is there any reason why we have to make that a voluntary donation? Is it a legal thing, or can we just require 25 quid?
We can, and it would be acceptable if it was our land, but it's not our land. All we're asking for is a fee to cover the administration costs.
Which is our cost.
Yes, which is our cost.
Right.
And we have taken, so now I'm going down the side route, but we took on the responsibility from Dorset Council and a local library provision to do the proof of life administration, because we're open from 9 till 1 Monday to Friday, and people come in. And at the time, the Finance Governance Committee and full council decided that the best way to cover that cost was to, rather than take the money ourselves, to donate it to the charity, because they thought it'd be a fairer way to do that. So I've just used statements for you. You don't have to. I'm not sure it would go down well with Dorset Council. They've never charged. When the bid did it, they never charged. The bid handed it back to Dorset Council very quickly, a number of years ago.
Okay, and the comments.
Well, I would, if I was looking to use the square, so I've used it in the past, for town crier competitions, we've asked for the majority of the square. So if I was to come back and book the square through this process, could I say I want most of those tables gone?
There's a section here that says,
So many days a year.
Number 8.
number 8, is it? So our permission that we're granting is allocated between the sitting out areas. What we would say to any inquiry, if you wanted the whole of the area, we would just pass it automatically to Dorset Council because there's only a certain number of days where they allow that. So we would make that, reference. With that.
So do you want to decide whether we're going to manage it or we give it back to Dorset Council?
Yeah, do we take it on permanently is the first question? If we do, are you happy with the booking form that's drafted?
So yes, Councillor Roberts?
Well, seeing as how we paid a hell of a lot of money to get that square pedestrianised or changed, I think we ought to take it on basically because we know what the town wants or what can go on there. And it just doesn't make sense to hand it over to an authority which is 20 miles away.
So you're making a proposal? Yeah. And second that? Councillor Leah? Okay, all those in favour?
Can I just check that we take it on permanently using this booking process? Yeah. Thank you.
Question.
2 days.
I like where Councillor Nash was going with donate a voluntary, make it an admin fee, and then everybody pays admin fee.
Yeah.
I like that, Councillor Chuckleworth.
Thank you. I think £12.50 is far too low. That's a few cups of coffee. I would express minimum of 25 quid if we could.
Is there a reason for the cost?
It's in line with our pension, our proof of life process.
Right.
Times.
Councillor Kurtz.
The square was changed and paid for by the district council, which was the second tier authority at the time. And everything, because of this unfortunate local government review and the setting up of the unitary authority, everything now is a Dorset Council. So the maintenance of that will fall upon the Dorset Council. Now, I don't know what effect that has on the thinking at Dorchester about the bookings and so on. I must have been under misapprehension because what I thought was happening was that the town council, in conjunction with the bid, was dealing with the bookings for the square. And that there was a number of days quoted in all of this during which the people that got the coffee shops and who had their tables and chairs and awnings outside could be cleared away. And I thought there was a certain number of days, like, I don't know, 4 or 5.
I think we used to work on this.
My understanding is that when it was district council, the district council had the bid to manage the administration, which they did for a while, and then handed it back to Dorset Council when it became the principal authority, the unitary authority. And Dorset Council have been running it, managing the bookings up until 17 months ago when they asked us to take it over.
So is it just the town council dealing with the bookings now?
It is the town council, but Dorset Council still have the final say. We have to run it past them.
And so do we know, through you, Chairman, if there are a number of days during the year when the square can be cleared for someone to use it for community purposes?
Yes, but that is managed by Dorset Council, not us.
So we've only got half a job?
Yes.
Okay.
The proposal.
Can I add something? Sorry.
Okay.
Just for information. So when the town liaison group looked at this, there was the acknowledgement that most of the requests, I would say 95% requests that come in are from charities. So putting a £25 fee on a charity is a question. Is £12.50 more flexible, or should we not be putting in a fee?
If I may, I think £25 is the right number, but we should have it at our discretion to ask for that or not. So actually leave it as a charitable donation, I suppose, or maybe change the form for charities or non-charities.
I would think,
Councillor Ryan, sorry, Councillor Ryan.
Yeah, I think it's a public space, public service. I think it should be a charitable donation.
Yeah.
And it strikes me at £12.50. If the administrators think that's a reasonable amount, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy, we should give the officers a guideline. We shouldn't leave it at their discretion to say, yes, we're charging them, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Seeing as we're now in favour of making a charge of £12.50
Yeah,
every time anybody wants to book it.
that's what we're saying, yeah. Okay,
As a voluntary donation?
Yes.
Don't have to.
Right, on the form it says a voluntary donation.
May I ask you a point of information? How often do charities turn you down for that donation when we've asked for it in the past with different things? And how often do businesses turn it down? Roughly numbers, just anecdotal.
We haven't enforced it, we haven't
Not
done
this
anything like
particular
it.
thing, but you have.
We haven't, no, not really, no. The proof of life works very successfully, no one's queried that, but that's a personal, it's not a charity thing.
I think you'd have.
right, okay, any other major comments about this? We're having a discussion on this. Okay, so we'll take the vote, haven't we?
Sorry, I think I might say, we propose that we take it on and we follow the booking form, £12.50
Yeah.
donation voluntary.
Yeah.
Yes, so I got the,
Councillor Roberts, I don't know.
yes, so, no, it was, oh,
I
yeah,
seconded it.
okay, fine, we all second,
And we'll.
And we all voted.
all in favour.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, okay. In the items in future meetings, they're all listed there, I won't read them out. But just about those meetings. I know I've got a bit of exempt business, so. That's all right.